But yeah, that's some of the things that the 80s pumped out. Oh, one of the other things, because not too long ago I watched the Jetsons movie. I saw that in the theater. That was like, because my dad was like, well, you know, there's these movies on Netflix. Why do we watch it? He had never seen it. I saw it with a group of friends, my mom and this other gal decided to take the kids to see Jetson's movie. I forgot that Tiffany was the voice of Judy Jetson. So one of the things from the 80s was there was a huge pumping out of eco-friendly movies. Eco-friendly movies, eco-friendly cartoons, just they were just all over the place. And one of the reasons for that, if you don't know about, is the Exxon spill of, I think, 89. Okay, I remember when that happened, and one of the reasons for that is not so much because of the cartoons, but because in grade school we were having assemblies like all the time, and our grade school teachers kept talking about it. They're like, okay, this is remember to recycle this, remember to do this when you recycle, remember to do that when you recycle, which is good. You know, we needed to know that. We needed to be completely aware of that. And it was like after that Exxon spill, recycling became a massive overload. Like I said, it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's bad. But it was like it was brought to the attention like nobody's business. And it was up in Alaska. I don't remember all the details, because in 89 I was 7, and I just remember hearing about and seeing the pictures of these birds and animals covered in oil. And at the time, I can remember my grade school teacher, I was like in the 2nd grade, I think, at that point. Seems about right. And my teacher was just like, well, those birds are gonna die. The oil is just gonna clog up all their pores and kill them. She's like, there's no excuse for that. And then another because at the school that I went, the grade school that I went to, we had a homeroom teacher and a reading teacher. So our homeroom teacher was freaking out, and then our reading teacher was like, well, fortunately there are these experts that are able to wash them down, and so because of the Exxon spill, we've learned a lot. Kind of like when the sinking of Titanic happened, we've been able to understand more of if a boat, yeah, you get the idea. And but I just remember going to so many different assemblies, and as a kid you kind of check out after a while. I mean, the first one was kind of exciting. You know, they had like the person in the costume, and like this animal was going, hey kids, do that, and it was exciting. And then after about the 4th assembly, you're like, as a 7-year-old, I mean, when the kindergartners don't care anymore, that tells you a lot. You know, it was just, it's like, I want to learn math now. When you want homework, when you want to go into class and get your homework, it's time to be done. I can also remember learning about Coco the gorilla. That was fun. our teachers were telling us a lot about the environment, because it went from that to into the environment. We were learning about dinosaurs. Apparently they had found some dinosaur bones, so we were learning a lot about dinosaurs. We were learning about animals. The endangered list had changed, apparently. We were going to the zoo a lot, and some animals were still endangered, some animals were no longer on the endangered list. It was just... So, there was that. So, as a kid growing up in the 80s, you grasp a lot of what's happening. You kind of grasp what's happening. But yeah, you can't really talk about the 80s without talking about video games. But I already pretty much talked about video games, so we can kind of gloss over that. It's like, oh gosh, she's gonna talk about that again. Yeah, there... Of course, gosh, this year in 2017, 30th anniversary of The Princess Bride. Time flies, man. How does that even happen? What's going on? Oh, man. That movie. I have a friend who actually, her parents do not like that movie. And it's like, how does that even happen? If you despise that movie, you're lying. How can you hate The Princess Bride? I read the book. I absolutely recommend it. I'm a little saddened that the author didn't write the sequel. The sequel was supposed to be based off of the child of Buttercup and Wesley, which would be amazing, but, you know, life happens. You don't always get what you want. So, but the book is just... I mean, the movie is funny enough. I mean, it's just downright hilarious. But you read the book, I actually had to put it down. I was laughing so hard. Because there's things in there, there's like, and you have to read the footnotes, because the footnotes are what make it. You know, a lot of times you read the... You think, oh, the footnotes are just reference for something. Well, this is a fiction book, you have to understand. Complete fiction, so you're reading the footnotes and you're like, oh. I mean, the author was just... Oh gosh. Highly recommend it, but be fully prepared. It's wonderfully done. I read it in high school, and my friends and I were the kind of group that we were the nerds in high school, and that was before nerds were actually accepted, so like before Big Bang Theory came into play, and so the whole geek thing was like, oh, it's fine to be this kind of a person. So we were kind of outcasts. But I can remember in high school reading the book, and my history teacher was like, well, I didn't know that it was a book. And my friend said, okay, you have to read it, but be open-minded about it. Well, a couple weeks later, my history teacher said, you should have told me to be a little more aware. Oh man. And it was great because I was still reading it and she was reading it and she's like, okay, now are you at the part, because she read a little bit faster than me, and she's like, are you at the part here? Are you at the part there? Are you at the... And it was fantastic. I had never read with someone like that before. So, yeah, it's a good book. But, yeah.